I've got a FIFA coach and analyst in the studio, in the virtual studio. I really had to do a lot of research for this one because maybe some of you are too, but I am a total noob in soccer and soccer video games and all things related. So without further ado, I just want to welcome my guest, Mr. Dory. What's up? How you doing? Hold on a second. I cannot hear you. I gotta unmute you. That will be smarter from my part. Let's go. Let's start again.
Second try. I was just thanking you for the lovely introduction. Now you ruined it by putting me on mute, but it's okay. Studied just a normal thing in, how do you call it, in high school. I did economics, like the guy who didn't know what to do, so he's just gonna pick something, which was economics.
Absolute classic. I've done that too. I've abandoned it, but it was one of the things I went through too as well.
Exactly, like we all know when you don't know what to do, just go for economics because it's economics. And then after that, I started in college.
Yeah. What's your favorite food?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I'm just a big fan of like having a chicken breast with a good cream sauce with mushrooms.
Sauce? Mushrooms. Yeah, cream sauce. Yeah,
with a little bit of pepper in there. It has to be well spiced because if it's weak, I'm not a big fan. With some French fries and some salad, or something more usual as a pasta with shrimps and vegetables and cream too. I'm a big cream fan.
Sounds good. Yeah, you're as long as there's cream in there, keep the cream coming. If there was no FIFA, what game would you like to be an esports coach in? Or wait, I'll make it harder. If there was no soccer games, because else I know what you're gonna say. You're just gonna say
no, I wasn't gonna say PES. I was not gonna say PES. No.
That's one of my first questions in there, so that's gonna be interesting. So what would you say? Imagine there's no soccer video games.
None. Because I never thought to become a FIFA coach. It was never something I've planned. It was just something that happened to me. So to know which one I would be in is so hard because, like I said, for me, it was just helping my friends out. And then all of a sudden they were like, yeah, he's my coach to other people. They were saying that.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, a FIFA coach? What?
Sure. I'll do it.
Sure. Fine. You got to take me to Singapore. All good. I love Mario 64 too much. PlayStation 1 was my second console. First one was the Super Nintendo that I have, the SNES.
Ah, yeah. I played hours on that.
You remember the cartridges that you had to blow into before you...
and the funny thing is, years later, people told us like, hey, it really wasn't good to blow in those cartridges.
Yes, exactly.
Because when you buy those cartridges now, like half of them have rust in it from all the child spit in it. If you want to harvest humanity's DNA, I think you need to buy Nintendo 64 and SNES cartridges. Because I think there's a lot in there. Instead of the mummies, they just have to buy our old cartridges, man.
We can solve all the old crimes.
Yeah, exactly.
The DNA tests.
All the DNA. Rather than Kevin De Bruyne is just a very, like you say, a consistent player. And I see him more, to say it with a D&D term, like a barbarian. He's just like, just a machine going forward. And Eden Hazard is like a roguelike type that just slips in between everything. I don't know if that's a good analysis from someone that is an absolute football noob. That's how I see it.
There is some kind of truth in it. In the end, Hazard, like I said, if Hazard is performing on 30%, in 5 minutes he can turn up to 100% and just make the difference. Whereas De Bruyne is just performing at 80% the whole game. That's just the way I see it. Like De Bruyne will peak at certain times and he will perform better. But in general, I feel like the peak that Hazard has, he can go from a completely ghosting in a game to actually being man of the match.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. How long have you been a Ben Crabbé fan?
Ben Crabbé fan, yeah, it's been a long time too. Something I picked up from my dad too. As he's an independent person, he comes home to eat and he doesn't work too far away from home. And at 1 p.m, Ben Crabbé show starts. Blokken. We just watch Blokken. We pretend like we're in the show itself, like replying, saying the answers as fast as possible.
That's great, right?
It's something fun that we do just with the two or with my sister or with my mom sometimes. But it's just something fun that we do. Yeah, Ben Crabbé, the GOAT.
Yeah. Ben Crabbé the GOAT. Mr. Dory just called Ben Crabbé the GOAT.
He's the GOAT from Belgian television. I mean, like, what else do we have to say?
Whatever we say in the rest of this podcast, this is going to be the quote they're going to take away from it. You know it. In golf, you just hit the ball. You just hit the ball right. I think you said it correctly without a comma. You have to hit the ball right. Dilemma for Hakim.
I mean, we can say that for every game, can't we? In skateboarding, we just have to put your foot on the ground.
Exactly.
For BMXing, we just have to buy. For football, we just have to kick a ball ball.
Yeah.
In the end, everything is very simple explained, but yeah, I get it. Sometimes looks way easier than it is, and it's the same on FIFA. We have professional FIFA players, and people just say it's just a game.
That's right.
But like, if you're making 25,000 a month to play that game, it's not just a game. The dimensions completely change.
Exactly.
So whenever money gets involved, it's just can be left.
Kind of fall. Yeah, left out.
It's just left out because in the end, it's not just anymore. It's your living. It's where you work for. It's where you train for. So yeah.
Every time you play FIFA, you have to dance the Macarena completely from beginning to end. Or every time you play FIFA, you have to eat a full English breakfast.
Full English breakfast.
All right. Imagine you play FIFA like 6 times a day. 6 full English breakfasts. You're gonna be like.
I'm gonna be good. I think I'll be having some place for dessert at the end.
Oh really? You're a big eater. You can get.
Yeah.
Oh wow. You wouldn't say it. I'm a big eater, but you know, it's my body is kind of ready for that. Hence the nickname. Every time you talk, you have to sing what you talk. So when you're coaching someone and they're playing bad, you're gonna have to be like, "You are not picking up the ball," or you move in slow motion all the time, but you speak normally. But you're like,
I hate going slow, so I'll just go for the singing, and I'll make it rap so we can talk really fast, you know?
See, that's an analyst for you guys. He will just go around. He will take your thing, like your dilemma that you've been working on, and you'll just go around it. Just like, I'll solve it, no problem. This is a puzzle for me. You either have to wear over-the-top gala clothes, like really over-the-top Showbiz Bart style, all the time, everywhere you go, or you head out in your pajamas every day.
My pajamas are pretty slick, so I'll go with my pajamas.
Pajamas? All right.
I'm wearing my pajama pants right now, so.
Oh, you are? Don't fall. Don't do the fall.
That's okay.
You've got it. You've got it under control. I fell off live on stream a few days ago, and the clip is blowing up everywhere. It's hilarious. And after every session of FIFA coaching, you have to line dance like the cowboys for 1 hour, or to be able to coach, you have to behave like a horse for an hour. Anywhere
I'll go for the line dance. Yeah, I'll go for the line dance. It's like whenever we run a tournament, we basically line dancing already, so might as well just.
That's hilarious. So if you want to see the line dancing MrDoorey, be sure to catch him at one of the tournaments. It was pretty good.
And then Mario, obviously, we were just playing Mario, and the fun part was like I have a bigger sister and then 2 younger sisters, and if I was playing with my bigger sister, she would give me. We had one controller that was like semi-broken. It will have like the plastic would have been broken a bit, and you will feel it all the time in your palm.
Oh, hilarious!
And the oldest player could always use the good controller, and then the youngest always has to play with the bad controller. Classic. But whenever I was playing with the younger one, and I was playing the single player game, and she wouldn't understand, I would just like not plug into the controller. I would just like put the connector on top of the SNES, and I would just be pretending like, look, you're playing, good job, and I would just be playing myself.
What a classic! What an absolute classic! My cousin did that with me as well. My question is, well, you actually answered it. I think you agree with school first.
100%, because you never know what's going to happen. I know plenty of professional football, FIFA players, and professional football players too. Afterwards, they always feel like, I might have done it a bit better. I might have chosen the better part, because you never know what's happening in the future. Maybe you break your arm. Maybe something happens that you're not good at the game anymore. Yeah, who knows? Your dad passes away and you need to take care of the whole family. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm one of those guys who just wants securities and have like backup. I just think that it's important to have something to rely on.
That's right. I think the senpai says it here.
So at that time, you just have to do something, whether that's going into a sauna, whether that's going to the gym, whether that's just walking outside and just having a breather, or whether that's chilling in the lounge in the hotel or in your bed and be like relaxing a bit. But you have to do something to like relieve that kind of stress. Otherwise, if you keep in that, you'll build up internal stress. And then I'm talking about like feeling depression and everything after you play the game. Because if you lose, and that's something that people forget all the time, people remember the winners. For every winner there are like millions of losers that didn't make it. I mean, people that lost the game.
Yeah.
So there is like the moment after a tournament, you'll see people fall into real depressions.
Philip of Lowland Lions said that as well, and I think that's very similar to what you say. It's hard to handle winning. It's not really easy to handle winning because it's you need to take a kind of approach to winning as well, because winning is not, you know, everything. It doesn't dictate the rest of the steps you take. But handling losing is very difficult as well, because there's always something to learn, but not everybody is a sore loser, of course. It's not easy to lose.
It's not only a sore loser, because in the end, sometimes you are just not good enough. You weren't good enough at that time. And being honest with yourself is a big one. But imagine that you have nobody around you, that you're just there alone. You just lost the tournament. You worked so hard for to get there. You just got swissed straight out of the group stage. You're out. You haven't played like a single good game.
Yeah.
How are you going to rebound from that yourself? That's so hard. So having somebody next to you that can just like, even if you went 0-3 and you just did nothing at all, nothing went well, having somebody next to you that was there with you, and maybe you'll feel like you let them down. But if the person is like mature and good enough, if he's a friend, because coaches are not just people next to them. Well, first one was watching a lot of pro gameplay. Second one was to get a huge network. And third is, I think, is building your own image. You can have a good network, but it's important to have an image or that other people can stand by. If you're being toxic online or you're being a dipshit and everybody hates you, they know you, but it's not necessarily a good one.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's just learning how to talk. Just know how to speak to people, whether that's online, whether that's in the one-on-one coaching sessions. It's knowing how to come true to somebody, to really get in their mind and to understand what they are going through and how you can help them. I think that's a big one too. It's just really one of those where people are just used to FIFA, so they just buy FIFA again. I think we have the same in buying Nutella. People buy Nutella because they are supposed to buy Nutella.
Yeah.
And everybody buys Nutella, so why would I buy something else?
Yeah, right.
But if we would really go to the core, we would find a few differences in tastes, but it would basically be the same. But we'll just be like, oh no, Nutella is better because I always buy Nutella.
All right, so you feel that it's more of a brand thing than it is a quality thing.
There is differences. Obviously, some things are better than others, but in the end, I think
they're both good.
It's pretty close. Yeah, it's called block breathing. So basically, you breathe in for 4 seconds, then you hold your breath for 4 seconds again, and then you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you hold the breathing out for 4 seconds again, and it's a block. So breathe in, keep it, breathe out, keep it, breathe in.
All right.
And there we go. So it's a block structure, and the moment you do that, you can lower your heart rate so low that people can go unconscious because of it. That is if you do it too long.
Yeah.
But if you do it like 2-3 times, it's good to like calm you down, and then you're like ready to go. But that's a technique that you can use.